Hi everybody, 𝗖𝗺𝗹𝗶𝘀𝗶, President of KBG Insurance and Financial. So I'm going to reach out and make a quick video today on car insurance and some of the basics that are included in your car insurance policy. So first off, one of the most important coverages is your liability coverage. And what that is if you're in an accident and you hit somebody, any medical damage or physical damage that you do cause to people, that's what you have coverage for. So if you have 300 liability limits, you'll have up to $300,000 for that accident for medical expenses. If that person's not able to go back to work and they try and sue you, any physical therapy, just to name a few examples. So next is uninsured, underinsured motorists. This is coverage that if somebody hits you and doesn't have insurance or doesn't have enough to cover the damages they cause, this is the part of your policy that kicks in and is very important as well. Something that we put on all policies and is not a coverage that we leave out. So if you have 300 uninsured, underinsured motorist coverage and somebody hits you in an accident and doesn't have any coverage, like I mentioned, or doesn't have enough to cover what the damages they cause, well, you'll have up to $300,000 for that accident to cover you and anybody involved for liability coverage, medical expenses, physical therapy, loss of income, until you're able to be made whole. So it's a coverage that we believe is very important and it's something that we never leave out as well. So next is personal injury protection in Washington State, and what that is medical expenses that are on top of your liability limits. So if you have $10,000 in personal injury protection, for example, and you're in an accident, you and anybody in your vehicle will have $10,000 towards your medical damages. So if you go to the hospital, $10,000 straight towards the bottom line and helps cover some medical expenses. There's no co-payments or deductibles, and you don't have to wait for the insurance companies to pay out if there is a lawsuit or anything that needs to happen. So it's a nice way to give you a buffer when those medical bills start coming in, and gives you some other expenses and coverages as well, such as living expenses and daily expenses, up to $40 per day. If you incur anything extra, such as food, gas, you need to stay in a hotel, etc. Also $2,000 on certain policies for funeral expenses. So worst case scenario, someone is killed, then you'll have up to $2,000 for that person for funeral expenses. Then one other aspect of personal injury protection that we think is important and a lot of customers like is the income and wage reimbursement. So for a $10,000 personal injury protection coverage, you can have up to $200 per week, up to $800 per month on a 52-week maximum limit. So if you talked about not having a disability income policy and you have personal injury protection, well, it does kind of give you a nice buffer for some wage reimbursement as well. So another great coverage is obviously your collision and comprehensive deductibles. So if you have a newer vehicle, you have a loan on your vehicle, these are coverages that are recommended and mandatory. And what those are is you pay first, and then the insurance company pays the remainder of the claim. So if you have a $500 deductible and you're in an accident and damage to your car is $5,000, well, you pay $500 and the insurance company is going to pay the other $4,500. So collision coverage covers if you're in an accident and hit any vehicle or object, and then comprehensive is anything we like to call it acts of God. So anything you can't control, whether a tree falls on your car, vandalism, you hit a deer, a rock is flung from the road from a semi-truck, for example, and hits your car, breaks your windshield or dents your car. So those are comprehensive coverages. Also, property damage is important. So if you hit a vehicle, you'll have up to the certain limits in your policy to cover any property damage you incur. Vice versa, on the uninsured, underinsured motorist property side, if somebody hits you and doesn't have insurance or doesn't have enough to cover physical property coverage, well, that part of your policy will cover your vehicle and any other physical property damage that is incurred. So a couple of the great coverages that we include on all our policies for our customers are emergency roadside service and then rental car reimbursement. Depending on the time of day, emergency roadside service, if you do need a tow, if your car breaks down, you run out of gas, you lock your keys out of your car, emergency roadside service can come in handy as towing, as you know, can be expensive. So we put that on all our customers' policies, and a lot of the packages that we sell from certain companies do already include it. So make sure you talk to your agent on what's included in your policy and what's not. So appreciate you watching. Those are just a few of the basics of car insurance. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out at 509-242-3244 or visit us online at www.kbgagency.com. Thank you.